Ever had one of those days when everything seems to be going wrong? Well, let me introduce you to a Netflix gem, Nowhere. If you thought you'd had a bad day, watching this movie will make you realize that things could be much worse. It's the perfect reminder that your bad day might not be so bad after all. I was buzzing with excitement when I saw Nowhere pop up on Netflix. It was finally Friday, a day to kick back, and I was ready to indulge in something I'd been eagerly anticipating. However, the moment the film started, I was hit with an unexpected wave of regret. Literally 2 seconds in. Why, you ask? It was all because of the dubbing voices. Sometimes, a movie can be outstanding, but if the dubbing and voiceovers don't measure up, it can really detract from the overall quality. But I soldiered on. My curiosity from the trailer had me committed to watching and reviewing this movie for you. Just when I was starting to lose interest due to those grating dubbing voices, something remarkable happened. The plot picked up pace. There was chaos, panic, and suspense that had me glued to the screen. I thought, alright, maybe this Friday isn't a total write-off after all. As I continued to watch, the scenes turned brutal. It felt like I was witnessing the horrors of a tyrant in action, and I was infuriated by the ruthless killings of innocent people, including women and children. But don't fret, I won't spoil the plot beyond that. It's crucial for you to watch and form your own opinions. Experiencing it for the first time, not knowing what's coming, is priceless. If you're hungry for more TV and movie review content, please do me a favor and hit that subscribe button. You know those movies where the main character seems to have no common sense, making you wonder why they'd hide there or do that? Well, Nowhere is different. Our lead character is smart, resourceful, and determined to survive. Did I mention she was pregnant the entire time? She displayed remarkable resilience. Thankfully, her voiceover was well executed, making the story easy to follow once the other not-so-great voiceovers took a back seat. This movie reminded me of A Quiet Place and Bird Box with Sandra Bullock, but it also had the lonely survivalist feel of Cast Away or I Am Legend. Imagine those films, but with a Schindler's List vibe thrown in. If you're unfamiliar with the premise, here's a quick overview. Imagine this: Mia, pregnant and fleeing a totalitarian regime, finds herself in a nightmarish scenario. As she hides in a container, hoping to escape to a safer place, a violent storm suddenly strikes. The container is knocked overboard, leaving Mia trapped and terrified in the midst of a raging sea. In the most challenging circumstances, Mia doesn't have the luxury of giving in to despair. She goes into labor and is forced to summon every ounce of her strength and resilience to bring her child into this world under the most dire conditions. It's a battle for survival, not just for herself, but for her precious newborn. Mia's determination and grit shine through as she faces unimaginable obstacles. She becomes a symbol of the indomitable human spirit, showing us that even in the darkest moments, a mother's love and willpower can conquer the most harrowing challenges. This story is a testament to the incredible strength that can be found within us when the need is greatest, and it reminds us of the enduring power of a mother's love.
Your next movie night is about to become legendary. It's time to level up your movie watching game. Imagine the perfect movie night with all the gear and gadgets that turn your living room into a mini theater. From popcorn machines to cozy blankets, immersive sound, plush seating, and even home theater projectors, everything you need for your dream movie setup is just a click away. Don't miss out on the chance to transform your movie nights into unforgettable experiences. So take action now. Explore these fantastic selection of movie products and elevate your movie nights to a whole new level. Simply click on the link in the description or pinned in the comments section. If you purchase anything by clicking on the affiliate link, I will receive a commission. Now back to our movie.
The movie served as a powerful reminder of the resilience of women. Women possess incredible strength, intelligence, and tenacity to overcome any challenge. They're resourceful and undeniably strong. It's disheartening that some men fail to recognize this, especially the men depicted in the movie, who mistreated women and children. Sadly, it's a reflection of the society we live in, where we often fail to acknowledge each other's true value until it's too late. But back to the movie. Just when you think things couldn't get any worse, they did. If you're enjoying this review so far, please do me a favor and hit that like button. Let YouTube know you want to see more content like this. Nowhere also teaches us that even in the darkest times, better days are ahead. It's a reminder of the saying, tough times don't last, tough people do. Sometimes you may feel weak, but the situation might force you to discover a strength you never knew existed. If you're having a bad day as you watch this review, checking out this movie might just make you realize that your day wasn't as terrible as you thought. And if you're genuinely having a tough day, please know that you're in my prayers and I'm sending positive vibes your way. This movie is filled with suspense. It doesn't just keep you on the edge of your seat. It practically glues you to it. You'll be constantly wondering what happens next and whether things will ever improve for the main character. It's evident that the writers were determined to make her suffer every 10 minutes. I have to admit, I'm not typically a fan of movies with just one cast member or those with long stretches of silence. I mean, the idea of sitting in a theater for hours with almost no sound seems, well, awkward. It's almost like sitting in a room by yourself with no one to talk to. You start to feel like you're in a vacuum, devoid of any connection or engagement. And it's not just about the lack of dialogue, it's the absence of those cinematic moments that make you feel like you're part of the story, sharing in the emotions and experiences of the characters. Sitting in a theater with 2 hours of silence pretty much sounds like this. Except picture it happening for 2 hours straight. Thankfully, Nowhere was nothing like that. I wasn't bothered by any silence. It was entertaining and left me in suspense throughout the film. I'm glad to hear that Nowhere didn't leave you with that awkward silence. It's always a relief when a film can captivate you without making you feel like you're stuck in a quiet vacuum. It sounds like Nowhere was quite the suspenseful ride, keeping you on the edge of your seat throughout the entire film. That feeling of watching a trapped mouse, wondering if it'll find a way out, must have made for an intense viewing experience. It's those moments when you can't help but root for the main character, even though the odds seem stacked against them, that truly make a film engaging. It's almost like you were right there in that container with the main character, sharing in her struggle to break free. That kind of immersive storytelling can really pull you into the narrative and make you feel like an active participant in the movie. It's great to hear that Nowhere delivered that level of suspense and thrill. Movies are meant to be a sensory experience, engaging our eyes, ears, and emotions. When it's too quiet for too long, it can leave you feeling disconnected and, frankly, a bit bored. After all, part of the magic of cinema is getting lost in the world it creates, and silence can be a bit too isolating. So while I appreciate the artistic intent behind such films, I'll admit they're not usually my first choice. I prefer the symphony of storytelling with a full cast and a rich soundtrack to accompany the visuals. It's those moments of dialogue, laughter, and even suspenseful music that truly make a movie memorable for me. As you know, not every writer knows how to end their stories, at least not well anyway. Thankfully, this wasn't the case for the writers of Netflix's movie, Nowhere. The writer did a great job bringing this particular story to a close. I did enjoy the ending. The writers did an admirable job wrapping up the story. Typically, I feel like movies need an additional scene at the end, but for the first time in my cinematic history, I don't believe this one needed it. The closure was well executed. The main character's acting was solid, and so was her voiceover. Despite a rocky start due to dubbing issues, it didn't leave a lasting negative impression throughout the film, which is quite rare. Now for the moment you've all been waiting for, the rating. On a scale of 1 to 10, I'd give it a 6.5. It's definitely worth considering, and it's a movie you won't easily forget. I have a strong feeling that Nowhere will soon claim the top spot on Netflix's list of the top 10 movies. Ready for the next review? Simply click on the suggested video on your screen and I'll see you there.